Hello everyone, Gaza Mutkarsh, and I welcome you all to this session on end-to-end data automation project. So guys, in this session, let's have a look at the agenda for today's session, right? So the agenda includes creating functions for data transformation. So in the sessions prior to this session, we have discussed how to create data ingestion functions and data cleaning functions, right? So in this session, we'll be focusing upon the data transformation function, where we'll be transforming the data as per the business requirements and as per, let's say, and for creating desired reports. So we'll be documenting the project with the markdown and the output as well. So guys, let's switch to the Jupyter screen. So guys, over here I'm importing, let's say, pandas for data cleaning pre-processing. Then I'm importing NumPy for numerical computations. I'm also importing Matplotlib and Seaborn for visualization. Then I'm importing OS, let's say, for handling file creation and deletion issues. And I'm importing datetime. From datetime, I'm importing datetime, let's say, to create datetime based data, and time delta to perform addition subtraction on dates. Then I'm importing random for random number generation. Fake, I'm using the faker to generate fake names, fake address to fake emails, all right, fake joining date, fake birth of date and stuff. And warnings, let's do to avoid any warnings. And JSON I'm using as a lightweight metadata and information interchange format. So I've imported this. Now we have already worked with, let's say, the data generation phase, and we have already worked with the data cleaning phase, right? The overall objective was, let's say, the project follows a structured end-to-end data pipeline from synthetic data generation to data cleaning to data transformation to visual analysis and report generation to analytical reporting. So यहाँ तक हमने देख लिया है data cleaning तक. The third phase that we are headed towards is the data transformation phase. So what is the purpose? The purpose is to enhance data sets with analytical features and create aggregated values. So these aggregated values is where we'll be utilizing either the pivot table or the group by, all right, or maybe group by along with aggregation. So यहाँ पे कौन-कौन से key functions हैं? So again over here for this let's say session, we'll be creating 4 functions: transform customer data, then transform product data, transform transaction data, and then create analytical data sets. So first function, that is create transform customer data, that is essentially going to create loyalty segments, bronze, silver, gold, based upon the loyalty scores. Then basically हम कुछ bins बनाएंगे. Then we have to calculate the customer tenure, how long has been a customer loyal, and we'll also be creating age bins. All right, age के groups बनाएंगे. Then in the transform product data, we'll be creating price segments, price के अलग-अलग segments. We'll be adding stock status indicators, and let's say we'll be classifying the profitability. In the transform transaction data, we'll be merging the customer and the product data, and then we'll be adding time-based features, hour of the day, day of the week. So this is essentially the feature engineering part. And then यहाँ पे हम एक और let's say functionality add करेंगे that, let's say, creates purchase size categories, right? We'll be utilizing let's say a functionality referred to as purchase size categories. इसके भी bins बनाएंगे. Then over here the next function would be create analytical data set. So this is where essentially we'll be aggregating 3 values. 3 key values को हम यहाँ पे aggregate करेंगे. Customer spending summary, all right, this is the report that will be generating. Product performance metrics and monthly sales by category. So these are the 3 reports that we need to generate. And the output is going to be, so in the output directory which we have set in the configuration, we'll be creating 3 files: analytical summary.csv, analytical customers summary.csv, then analytical products.csv, and analytical transactions.csv as well. Besides this, we'll be, let's say, adding few aggregated data sets. So guys, let's have a look at the let's say functionalities. This is the data transformation part, right? So previously we have looked at the data creation, then the data cleaning, then this is the data transformation part. So data transformation में, right, in the data transformation, this is where we have the data transformation. So the first function is transform customer data. This is the transform customer data, all right, and इसमें हम यहाँ पे क्या क्या कर रहे हैं? Let's see this in action. So I'll be just mentioning the bullet points what we are doing over here. So let's have a look at this function. So in the transform customer data, it takes df as the argument. Then I'm simply printing transforming customer data with some, let's say, default functionality. So I'm passing the bins as 0, 30, 70, and 100. 0, 30, 70 and 100 ये हमारे 4 bins हैं. And what are the corresponding labels? The labels are bronze, silver and gold. So I'm creating a loyalty segment. All right. So over here, what are we doing? Create a loyalty segment. And ये loyalty segment हम कैसे define कर रहे हैं? Based on loyalty score. Loyalty score के base पे हम ये segment को define कर रहे हैं, right? Next, over here I'm computing, let's say, customer tenure in months. So customer का tenure हम कैसे extract कर सकते हैं? Over here I'm writing datetime.now. This is what I'm storing in today. And then what is the customer tenure? This is today minus date of joining .dt.days upon divided by 30. Divided by 30 would give us the total number of months, right? So आज की date minus joining date.dt.days and divided by 30. I'm rounding it off. I'm storing it as integer. So over here we are computing customer tenure in months. All right. Next, the third functionality that I need to add over here is we are creating age groups. So age के groups हम कैसे बना सकते हैं? See, for creating groups in pandas, we do have a function called cut. Cut function क्या करता है? We have seen the same function in the loyalty segment. So it cuts the loyalty score. All right. Loyalty score को ये cut करेगा into different segments. Based on what? Based on the bins. So bins मतलब जो पहला bin बनेगा. Suppose over here we have the bronze bin, right? तो bronze का जो range है, what is the range? Bronze would range from 0 to 30. All right, then what about silver? Silver is going to range from, silver would range from 30 to 70. All right, the last value being excluded. So let's see 29 तक जाएगा. This would be from 30 to 69 and then gold आपका जाएगा. Gold would be from 70 to 99. All right, and bronze की starting आपकी 1 से होगी. So this is how the range is defined. 0 to 30, 30 to 70, 70 to 100. And labels हमें क्या mention करना है? This would be bronze, this would be silver, this would be gold. So age के bins यहाँ पे हमने क्या रखे हैं? The first bin is 0 to 18. So if age is less than equal to 18, so group का नाम would be less than 18. Then we have 18 to 25. So over here I've mentioned 18 to 24. Next it would be 25 to 30, 25 to 35. So इसका नाम जो मैंने सेट किया है that is 25 to 34. Next I'm passing 35 to 49. So this would be 35 to means 35 to 50 here. So this would essentially take values ranging from 35 to 49. Next we have 50 say 65, right? So over here I've mentioned 50 to 64 and then 65 to 120. This would be 65 plus 120 is quite large, 100 तक ही रखते हैं. All right, yeah, चलो let's keep this 120, no issues. Maybe age में कुछ ऐसी values हों जो I think we have cleansed it, but still let's keep this. So this is 65 plus. So age group would be pd.cut df age and df age में bins is this age bins. And what are my labels? My labels are age labels, right? Labels हमने यहाँ पे क्या रखा है? These are the age labels and right is equal to false. That's it, and then I'm returning this data frame. So transform customer data simply returns this data frame. So यहाँ पे हमने age के भी groups बनाए हैं. Create age groups and fourth is let's say return the data frame. So ये था हमारा पहला function which we have seen. Now the second function that we have over here is, this was the first function, right? So इसी को हम copy कर लेते हैं because the second function would also follow similar pattern. But now transform customer data, next would be transform product data. So product data में हमें क्या क्या transform करना है? Let's have a look. In the transform product data, over here, first of all, I'm printing transforming the product data, and then I'm transforming product data into analytical tables. So first of all, I'm creating price segments. All right, so let's copy this. Price के segments हम कैसे बना रहे हैं? Create, let's say price segment based on price. Price के base पे ही of course हम price के segment बनाएंगे. So first of all, let's have a look. यहाँ पे जो हमने bins set किया है, right? That is 0, 20, 50, 100, 200, and let's say the upper range is float infinite. So what are my labels? Over here, the first label is 0 to less than equal to $20, then 20 to $50, then 50 to $100, 100 to $200, and greater than $200. So this is the price range that we have defined, and I'm creating a column called price segment, and it takes df price. The first parameter is df price. The bins that I'm passing over here is bins. So इनके basis पे this is going to cut the price, and these are the labels that it is going to assign. So this is the price segment, right? ये था हमारा first functionality in the transform product. Then I'm creating stock status. All right. Next I'm creating stock status. अब stock status ये हम कैसे compute कर रहे हैं? Let's see. How are we computing the stock status? So np.where जहाँ पे भी stock value 0 है, I'm simply writing it out of stock. Otherwise, if the stock is less than 10, I'm writing low stock or in the stock. So overall, this stock status is going to consist of 3 values, either out of stock or low stock or in stock. All right, 0 is out of stock, less than 10 is low stock, in stock is greater than 10. So this is based on create stock status based on the stock values, right? जो भी हमारी stock values हैं उसके basis पे हम ये create कर रहे हैं. Next यहाँ पे जो हमारी functionality है, that is we have to create profitability segments. Profitability segments के लिए the bins that I'm passing is negative infinite, then 0.2, 0.4, 0.6 and float upper infinite. So negative infinite से positive infinite तक की कोई भी values हो सकती हैं, but these are the essentially bins 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. So the labels that I'm passing is negative infinite से 0.2 तक का let's say if my profit margin is in this range, then I'm calling it low. If the profit margin varies between 0.2 से 0.4, then medium. If it is between 0.4 and 0.6, then high. If it is above 0.6, it is very high. So I'm calling let's say creating another column called profitability, जिसमें I'm let's say I'm using the cut function on the profit margin based on these bins, right? In bins के base पे हम ये use कर रहे हैं, and then I'm passing labels. So what are my labels? My labels are low, medium, high and very high. Correct? These are the labels that I'm passing. And next, what am I returning? I'm returning this data frame. All right. So यहाँ पे the fourth functionality is create profitability bins. All right. Profitability bins हमने यहाँ पे generate किया है based on profit margin. All right. Profit margin के base पे हमने generate किया, and then I'm returning the data frame. Next, दो functions हमने देख ली. We are left with 2 more functions. So the third is let's say this is going to be transform transaction data. So transaction data में हमें क्या क्या change करना है? Let's have a look. So first of all, I'll be printing transforming the product data. This is transforming. Product data हम देख चुके हैं, right? The next is transforming the transaction data. So first of all, I'll be printing transforming the transaction data. Then I'm merging the customer data with the product. So this function takes customer df and products df as arguments, and df that would be our transaction data, right? So I'm merging df with customers df, customer id, loyalty segment, age group, and what am I merging this on? See, ये जो df है, this is going to be the transaction data. So transaction को अगर हम customer table से merge कर रहे हैं, so the common column would be the customer id. And how am I merging it? I'm merging it with the left join because I want to include all the transactions. So this is merging with customer data, merging essentially transaction with the customer, right? Merging transaction with customer data. Next, I'm merging this df. This df contains transaction and customer data. All right. So merging transaction and customer data with the product data. All right. So this is the first part of this function. The first objective is to merge transaction with customer data. The second functionality that we have is, this is the first part, merge transaction and customer data with the product data. All right, ये भी देखते हैं. How are we merging this? Yeah, so to merge this, यहाँ पे हमने DF and customers DF को merge किया था based on customer ID, and the joining type was left. So once we do have this DF, so now this DF consists of the transaction and customer data, and this DF I'm merging it with products DF. Based on the columns, I need product ID, category, price segment. All right, and once I have these columns, then I'm simply let's say I'm applying the join on the product ID, and the join type is left. So now this DF consists of customers, transaction, and products details, mainly all the columns that are needed for further transformation. Next, I'm creating time-based features. So I'm extracting, over here I've extracted the transaction hour and time of the day. Transaction hour is transaction date.dt.r. All right, so over here, what are we computing? Extract transaction hour and transaction. We have computed the transaction hour and time of the day, and transaction time of the day. All right, so transaction hours is simply dt.r applied on transaction date, and time of the day, I'm cutting the transaction hour based on the bins 0, 6, 12, 18, and 24. So if the date is between 0 to 6, it is night. If the time is between 0 to 6 hours, it is night. If it is between 6 to 12 hours, it's morning. If it's between 12 to 18 hours, it's afternoon. If it's between 18 to 24 hours, it's evening, right? And so इसको हमने set किया है. Next, I'm creating purchase size categories. So this is the second step. This is the third step. All right, create time-based features. Then this is the fourth step, right? Create purchase size category. This is going to be the fourth step. Create purchase size category. All right, and this was essentially based on ये था आपका transaction data पे. This was based on transaction data, and purchase size categories is based on, let's say, ये bins है हमारे पास 0, 25, 100, 250 and float infinite. Labels is small, medium, large, very large. So smallest would range between 0 to 25. Between 25 to 100 it would be medium. For large it would be 100 to 250, and for 250 to greater than 250 it's very large. And I'm applying this on the total amount. So PD dot का total amount based on these bins, and in bins के base पे जो ये column cut होगा, so let's say I'll rename them with these labels, and I'm storing them as the purchase size. So it is based on the total amount, right? So it is essentially, let's say, create purchase size categories, and ये किस पे based है? It is based on total amount. So ये चार functionalities हमने यहाँ पे add की है. We have merged transactions with customer data. Then we have merged transactions with transactions and customer data with the product data. We have extracted transaction hour and transaction time of day based on the transaction date. Then over here we are creating purchase size categories based on the total amount. All right, and then I'm returning the DF. Next, over here I'm returning the DF. All right, so guys, यहाँ तक हमने ये कर लिया. Next, I'm returning the DF. So this is the fifth step. I'm simply returning the data frame. All right, यहाँ पे हम data frame को return कर रहे हैं. Next, अगर हम देखें, next we are creating the analytical data sets. So this is where all the analytical operations will be creating, and we'll be storing them as well. All right, so we do have two more functions. So let's have a look at the create analytical data sets function. So यहाँ पे what are the objectives that we are catering to? Let's have a look. So over here I'm passing clean customers, clean products, and clean transactions. So how do we fetch these clean cleansed data? So ये जो अभी हमने तीन functions create किए थे, right? Transform transaction data. All right. So first of all I'm calling let's say transform customer data, transform product data, transform customer data on clean customers, transform product data on clean products, and then transform transaction data on clean transactions, customers analytical and products analytical. So ये जो transform customer data है, I'm storing it to customers analytical, transforms product data, I'm storing it to products analytical, and then these two, let's say transform data, I'm passing it to the third function, which is transform transaction data. So that fetches clean transactions, customers analytical, and products analytical. These are the three function arguments which I've used. All right, so this is where I've transformed the data. So first step is to transform the data based on the previous three functions. Transform data, let's say, based on all these three functions, right? And the first one is transform customer data. All right, this is the first step. Then the second step जो है हमारा, that is once we do have this transform data, so first of all I'm creating customer spending summary. All right, this is the second step, compute customer spending summary. All right, इसमें हमने क्या किया है, will observe this. So let's observe this कि यहाँ पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं. So in compute customer summary, what am I doing? I'm writing transactions analytical dot group by customer ID के base पे I'm aggregating this on the total spent would be total amount का sum, number of transactions would be transaction amount का count, average transaction would be total amount का mean, and last purchase is transaction date का max. And then I'm resetting index to convert this to data frame. All right, and then this customer spending, I'm merging it with the customer data. So pd.merge customer spending and customer analytical. I'm merging this with the customer ID on the let's say with the left join. So this is compute customer spending summary. This is the second step. All right, ये हमने यहाँ पे लिखा है. So the second step we have seen. The next is the third step. The third step is, let's say, product performance. So compute product performance summary. So यहाँ पे हमने क्या किया है, let's see. So product performance is transactions analytical dot group by based on product ID. Product ID के base पे first of all I'm computing the total sold, that is sum of quantity. Then total revenue is total amount का sum. Number of transactions is transaction ID count, and average quantity is mean of quantity, right? So this is product performance summary. So I'm mentioning this over here. Then the fourth step over here is, next step यहाँ पे हमारा क्या है? So we have to merge with this the product data, right? So this product performance that we have computed over here, we are merging it with product performance, merge product performance and product analytical on the product ID with the join type of left. Next is I'm computing ROI. So this is the fourth point, compute calculate ROI. So these are the transformations that I want to carry about, right? So how am I computing the ROI? So this is product performance ROI. ROI is the new column that I'm generating. So that is return on interest. All right, the product performance total revenue minus product performance total sold into product performance cost upon product performance total sold upon product performance cost. All right. And then I'm rounding it up to 2 digits, 2 decimal places. Product performance total revenue. Total revenue is our the total cost generated minus total sold into product performance cost upon total sold into product performance cost. All right. So this is my return. This is my ROI. Next, I have to compute monthly sales by category. And how are we computing? This is monthly sales as transactions analytical dot group by, then transaction month and category wise total amount ka sum. All right. And then I'm unstacking it to convert this into data frame. So compute ROI के बाद next step is, let's say, compute monthly sales by category. So this is going to be the monthly sales by category. So guys, let's have a look. How are we computing this monthly sales by category? ये हम देख चुके हैं. And then we can return the summaries. All right, इन सारी summaries को हमने return कर दिया. Where we are returning it over here. Customers, customer analytical, then product analytical, transactions में transaction analytical, customer spending में I'm passing customer spending, then product performance में I'm passing product performance, and monthly sales में I'm passing monthly sales. So these are the 6 summaries that we have generated. All right, and then we need to save these summaries. So how are we saving? I'm calling a function called save analytical datasets. All right, the fifth function that we have over here is save analytical datasets, right? And इसमें हम यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हैं? Let's have a look. So in the last function that we have over here, first of all, I'm printing save analytical datasets. So for name, comma, data frame in analytical data items. So where are we getting this analytical data from? So we are getting this analytical data from as the argument, right? And then I'm passing the configuration. यहाँ पे हमने configuration भी pass किया है, right? So let's observe. So for name, comma, df in analytical data dot items. So if it is an instance of data frame, if it is an instance of the data frame that we have captured so far, and let's say if this df is an instance of data frame, then df.tocsv, I'm joining the output directory with analytical name underscore dot csv. All right, and I'm setting the index as false. Else, so let's say if it is series, so then I'm converting it to csv, and then I'm joining the path output directory with analytical name dot csv. So यहाँ पे see the couple of output can be series, couple of them could be data frame. So if it is an instance of data frame, this is how I'm saving it, and if it is series, so I'm writing df.tocsv. All right, and then I'm printing this. Then I'm simply printing the function. So यहाँ पे what was our objective? Save each data set in the desired output directory. This was the only functionality. So save each data set, or let's say the summary data set in the desired output directory defined in the config. Alright, जो configuration में define था वहाँ पे हम save कर रहे हैं. That's it, and I'm simply printing analytical dataset saved to the configuration output. So guys, let's say we have reached the end of this session. We have seen how to perform the data transformation step. So guys, let's switch to the PPT. So guys, in this session we have discussed how to create data transformation and report, or let's say the summary generation function. So in the next session we'll be proceeding with, let's say, the visual report generation function and automating the entire workflow. Thank you.